Well, here's a sport that gives you plenty of exercise. All ages can do it, and it's a lot of fun.
Well, a diet is not the only way to get rid of those extra pounds. Winter here in the inland Northwest is one of the most beautiful times of the year. And cross-country skier Carrie Christensen says her passion is the perfect way to enjoy that beauty and keep in shape.
Speaking of snow and Olympic kinds of things, last week we told you about 3 Spokane cross-country skiers who would like to go to the Olympics someday. Right now they're trying to qualify for the Junior Nationals coming up next month.
I started skiing up at Mount Spokane in the mid-1950s. Nordic skiing was really kind of non-existent around Spokane. I had downhill skied all my life and was looking for something different to do. The cross-country ski area at Mount Spokane was just starting to evolve, and I got interested in it and picked up the sport.
I started skiing in 72, 73. Needed a job, so I went and applied at Western Outdoor Sports. They had a ski school for cross-country skiing. They had just opened recently. Our first lessons were at Downriver Golf Course, and then from there we moved up to Mount Spokane and did lessons in the area that was called the Snowblaze condominiums at the time, so where the condos are. We were running lessons 7 days a week. We had as many as 1,000 skier contacts a year, so we were the largest cross-country ski school on the West Coast. We started working through the Spokane Mountaineers because that was the only real skiing organization at the time, and presented a proposal to the state snow parks system in 76 and in 77, and Mount Spokane got designated a snow park in 77. That was really when things started to change a bit. It was all using the existing logging roads. And so I think it was 81 that we actually laid out what's now called Bryan's Trail. And that trail originally also included parts of Mountain View and a little bit of Sam's. We cut that by hand and then with a tractor with a flailer behind it. And now we have close to 70 kilometers of trails on the mountain. It's been really cool to see how it's changed and how many people enjoy the sport. It's a whole lot easier now with the Grim Trails. The early track setting, you were sitting on a snowmobile, pulling a track setter, but you also had a chunk of chain link fence that we would pull behind to drag the snow, and then we had a roller that was made out of an irrigation culvert that must have weighed 400 pounds. And that stuff was just a pain to work with, but that was how we groomed the trails. The trail system on the mountain that we have now is just, it's world class. We have former Olympians that will come and ski Langloff that just love our trail system. And to go from when I was teaching skiing and having to ski the trail in before you took your class out, to now being able to go out and have, the learning area groomed with 4 sets of tracks, or Linder Ridge with nice flat area to skate ski. It's really been, I think, huge. It's impacted the lives of many people. My kids started cross-country skiing when they could barely walk. And I've had lessons with 85 and 87-year-olds. You have people that are skiing even with injuries. Like my son is an amputee. He can go up on the trails and ski in a sit ski. You couldn't do that before. It's even more inclusive now than it ever was. Spokane Nordic started out with like a dozen people, that just got together to ski. But it was a social thing. And even with Spokane Nordic now, you have the Nordic Kids program, which originally started when we brought the Bill Coakley bands into Spokane, and we used Riverfront Park for the first Bill Coakley event. They brought 100 pairs of skis, and we used Riverfront Park downtown, and when we got done, we had to take all the skis into the car wash to wash all the goose poop off because there was more goose poop than snow.
That program really had trouble getting going, and the reason it did was because there was no lodge.
We had maybe 15, 20 Nordic kids at the time, and taking them up there up the parking lot, trying to, deal with all these small children in the cold.
Yeah, they weren't having fun.
They weren't having
At
fun.
times. We were trying to get it done before winter really set in, and we were putting the metal roof on it. I think it was in December, and it was windy and snowy and cold, but it really did bring everybody together. I mean, if you're spending all your time when you ski and then you come back and you're in the parking lot, you go to your separate cars, now you had a place to go, and it was much nicer to socialize. It was much different.
So pleasant, and to be able to have a ski and then sit and visit with your friends and have lunch and go out for another ski.
The Bill Koch Youth Ski League succeeded really because of the lodge. Normally when you see something like this, it takes a long time for it to develop. This program doubled every year, and they finally, we had to put a cap on it because there were so many kids and there wasn't enough volunteers to try to accommodate them.
The club tried to start different programs, to attract more people. There was Bill Koch then, and that worked really well with young families, but there were kids that wanted to race and compete. When we got involved with it, we basically hired the first coach that the team really ever had, and that really kicked off the whole team. And the team grew from there. I mean, there were probably, instead of 4 or 5, there were 12 to 15 kids on the team, and we had no vans back in those days. Parents hauled all the kids to every race.
We did it together. We were, every weekend, it was a family event. I kind of, maybe in my heart, one of the things, they enjoyed it growing up. They had a good time with us.
Yeah.
They want that experience for their kids.
When you hop in your car and drive down the mountain after days of skiing, you just feel like $1 million. And I think that's universal. I think that's true for when you're young, and it's true for when you're old. And so if you're getting that kind of benefit, then you're going to want to give back. I've always been really impressed with the Nordic ski community and their willingness to volunteer. There's always been people that have been willing to step up and help out and grow the operation. And I think that maybe it's one of the strongest organizations I've ever been involved in as far as people willing to help out. It's really refreshing, to be honest with you. And I have only seen that grow.
Spokane Nordic does a lot of things for the ski community. Not only do we do the volunteer work with the trails, but you have to have equipment to do that. And that equipment is purchased through the donations to Spokane Nordic and through the membership fees. If you really think about it, there's a lot of people that come ski that only come ski, but they're missing out. It's been a great organization to be a part of.